joining us today. Perfect. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm the Beginning Farmer and Outreach Coordinator for Oregon. It's a new role I've taken on. I took it on about the beginning of the year, so I've been doing it for a few months now. We had a session earlier this year, and I wanted to just kind of preempt all of this with, if anybody was on that session and didn't get a chance to jump in, I apologize, we didn't have it happen. What we wanted to do to kick these off, though, for 2023 was to sit down and give you all an opportunity to talk to each of the agencies that is involved with the Beginning Farmer and Outreach, Beginning Farmer and Rancher Outreach group, and ask questions. So when we move forward, we can use these sessions to really target you guys and answer the questions you need answered. Some of the issues we had in the past, because we've been doing these for about a year now. The last one we did was a year from this one in 2022. But one of the issues that we have is coming out here and talk to you guys is great. But we want to talk to you about what you want to hear. A lot of the things that we do, like with the FSA or the Farm Service Agency, it sounds like we should be able to do it. But the answer is that's actually a rule of development thing. So what we want to do with this session here is give you guys an opportunity to jump into each of the individual sessions, jump into a different one and ask questions. So as we go through, again, I'm just going to have the agencies introduce themselves, and I'm going to let you guys kind of guide the meeting. So as we jump into the breakout sessions here afterwards, each of the champions, rather, for the agencies will be able to get you contact information for people that you may have questions for, or get you basically clarifying answers for the questions that you do have. And again, if you've got any questions for coming into June and July, that'll be our next session. Let us know. We want to cover some of the information, again, that you guys really need. So using that time to sit down and ask us pertinent questions, tough questions, whatever you guys want to know, that's what we want to do with this. So I'll just jump into it. There's not really a lot of meat and potatoes to this, but pull up that second. All right. So you guys can all see the slideshow, right?
Yes, Derek, we're good.
Awesome. Okay. So again, my name is Derek Johnson. I'm with the Farm Service Agency, and I'm a farm loan officer out here in Malheur County. With me today, I have Anastasia Griffin. She's with the Risk Management Agency. She's a risk management specialist and also the champion for Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and a number of other states. So I'll let her jump into that and talk about that agency a little more. I've got Lauren Benton with me. You've heard her a few times. She's going to have the small farms program specialist, if I've got that all correct, join her to kind of go over that and talk about NRCS a little bit. I've got Erica Knight here. I'm not sure if she's on today. If she's not, I'll go ahead and jump in and take care of that for her. But Erica Knight's the Rural Development Business and Cooperative Program Specialist. So she deals with all that stuff. One of the biggest things for RD, and again, I don't see Erica on right now, but one of the biggest things for RD is going to be the Value Added Producer Grant, which if I don't have Erica, it's going to be tough to talk to you about, but I do want to hear some of the questions you all have. So if I don't have Erica on today, just jump into the FSA group and we'll take care of that. So the first slide is FSA. It's all pretty simple. When you get down to it, we can do two things. I can help you with farm programs. There's a number of programs, but really what the FSA deals with specifically is disaster programs. So let's say you get out and you have a cow die in your field. This is what FSA is here for. We want to help support farmers. We want to keep farmers farming and help support the farming they're doing already. So in the case of, let's say, feed hauling, this year's been kind of a wild year. We've gotten a lot of rain, so I don't know if we're going to be hauling feed or hauling water. But last year, it was a different story. We had a lot of water to haul. We had a lot of feed to haul. And some of the programs we have available help pay for that expense. So if you guys have any questions about that, jump into my group. Let's talk about it and see what information we can get to you. The second thing the FSA can do for you is offer farm loans. There's a number of different loans the Farm Service Agency can offer you, and there's a number of different eligibility criteria that goes into each and every one of them. but there's basically 4 I can do. 2 of them are, I would say, pretty much the same as the other 2. But the overall end all be all is I can do an operating loan, which I can pay for annual recurring expenses. So I can give you money to buy feed, fertilizer, to help you basically bridge that gap between buying cows, calving them out, growing the calves, and then selling the calves. You got to pay for stuff in between. So that's where that operating loan comes in. I can also help you buy equipment. That'd be a term operating loan is what we refer to it as. And I can also help you buy a farm, and we call those farm ownership loans. Now, another thing I can do that's outside of some of the specific farm loan programs that the FSA does is a farm storage facility loan. So if you have production that you yourself produce, right? You got a field of hay, you don't have a barn, and you want to store that hay. If you can show that you need that storage, I can help you finance a farm storage facility. Now, it's not just for hay. We can do any kind of renewable biomass. There's certain provisions, and realistically, the program itself is a completely different animal than what we do on the direct loan side. It's available. It takes a lot more work than what I would say a direct loan takes. But in the end, the interest rates and the benefits you get from it are amazing. So I've built a number of grain storage bins. I've built hay farms. We've built onions, sheds, all sorts of stuff. And one of the cool things about the farm storage facility loans is there's actually not as much of a financial burden to the applicant. When I give out a loan, I have to do something called a test for credit. So I'm not allowed to give you money if it would cause another bank to lose out, right? I'm not allowed to compete with a commercial lender. So with a farm storage facility loan, it's outside of that scope. As a program, it doesn't look at what another bank would do. So again, it's a different program, it's a different animal, but if it's something you guys are interested in, I'd love to talk to you about that. And the last thing I can do, it's probably one of my favorite things, is a youth loan. Youth loans are fun because anybody from the ages of 10 all the way to 21 can get a loan through the FSA for up to $5,000 and finance an income producing project through FFA, a tribal youth organization, or any of those other youth ag organizations that we have in our communities. So having an opportunity for some of the more underserved or underfinanced communities like the youth community to come and get a loan, raise a steer for the fair is pretty cool to see. So, and again, it's really easy for me. I think it takes like a day maybe. So one of my favorite loans by far. So okay, guys, my name is Derek. I'm with the Farm Loan Agency. When you get a minute, when you're done talking NRCS, you're done talking to RD, and you're done talking to RMA, jump on over to the FSA bin, come talk to me a little bit. And there's my contact information there. If you shoot me an email, I can get you pointed in the right direction. I don't have the answers to everything, but we can at least get you closer to somebody that does. So I will jump into our next slide, and that will be Anna. Are you on here, Anna? I saw you.
Looks like she's on. Anastasia, can you hear us?
Oh, I heard a little.
Maybe pop out and then try to pop back in. That's the only thing I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I'll do right now is I'll just kind of go over this for Anna real quick. RMA, and again, guys, I'm not a professional on this. If you have specific questions on risk management, specifically insurance and compliance, jump into the RMA bin after this, and let's talk to Anna and see what she's got. And so, and again, too, don't be shy. If Anna jumps in, just feel free to cut me right off. Doesn't bug me. So realistically, the RMA does a number of things, but the three biggest things is going to be insurance services, product management, and compliance. RMA can walk in and give you a number of different insurance options. And this is something that is not necessarily set by RMA, but there's a lot of standards and things that other insurance agents say that are basically bounced off of RMA. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this straight off the slide. I know that's pretty dry and boring, but hopefully it gives Anna time to jump back in and join us. So the first thing here, insurance services. It ensures the crop insurance program is adaptive, effective, and actuarially sound at the local level by being representative to regional stakeholders, producers, and crop insurance providers. The primary focus is the risk management, education, and outreach efforts and ensuring coverage for producers through the exceptions or written agreements process. So again, this is a really good opportunity for all of you to jump into the breakout session afterwards with Anna and talk about what do you want to see when it comes to insurance, or what can I or can I not insure? And I see Anna's on here now. Can you give her a chance to speak?
Hear me?
I can. How are you, Anna?
Good. I was talking before, but no one could hear me apparently. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's all right. There was a little echo. It was kind of cool, to be honest with you, but that works out perfect. I just read the first little piece here, and just basically I was going over a general interview and telling everybody it would be a great opportunity afterwards to jump in with you and ask some more specific things about the insurance, but I'll hand it right off and thank you.
Yes, for sure. So I'm Anastasia Griffin, and I do work with the Risk Management Agency. I've been with RMA for about 8 years now, and our region actually covers Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska. So those are the states that I cover. The outreach portion is actually just a very, very small percentage of what I do. But we are mostly focused on crop insurance. So I don't know if Derek mentioned any parts of that, but our crop insurance program is actually a public-private partnership. So the approved insurance providers, or AIPs, actually are the ones who sell and service the federal crop insurance policies, but we do work with them. And let's see, looks like we've got something in the chat. Anyway, but sorry about that. What I am going to do actually is I'm going to put some fact sheets in the chat for everyone so you can kind of take a look. One of the main insurance programs that we have that is more geared or designed for beginning farmers and ranchers is called the Whole Farm Revenue Protection. We actually have two programs. Part of that is a new program called Microfarm. So I'll put those fact sheets in the chat for everyone so you can kind of take a look at those. But yeah, that's basically what we do as far as risk management. Our biggest tool is the crop insurance that we offer for producers. But again, like Derek said, I will be available in the chat room for anyone who has any questions, and then in further sessions, I will be going into more depth and more detail about the crop insurance programs that we offer.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, Anna, anything else to add, or is that's we'll just let everybody else kind of ask questions in the group?
Yeah, that's basically what I've got here, but I'm going to go ahead and stick those fact sheets in there so everyone has those available.
Perfect. And I'll go and do the same too. I didn't think about that before. That's a great idea.
And I've also got one that has just the standard beginning farmer rancher benefits the Risk Management Agency offers as well. Perfect.
Perfect. All right. Now, next on our list here is NRCS, and I've got Corey listed here, but I'll go ahead and pass it to Lauren and actually stop sharing my screen. So we've got Kacey Myers here to jump in to give us a hand.
Sure, thank you. Let me just pull up my presentation here. Can everyone hear me okay?
All good.
All right, and then
Looks
let
like
me know
you're-
if you can see the slides.
Good there too.
All right. Let's see. And, oh, here we go. All right, so my name is Kacey Myers, and I'm the Small Farms and Organic Specialist. I cover the North Coast and Lower Willamette Basin, as you can see, is up in the northwest corner of the state. And I've been on since September. I came from NRCS New Mexico, so it's been a big change, but it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of diverse crop systems out here. It's very unique. Every place you go is a little bit different, so it's been a lot of fun getting on board. So today, what I want to cover is the NRCS programs and how they might work for a small farm or beginning farmer, and just go into a little bit of detail. We can get into more detail in the breakout sessions. Any questions we have, we can cover. It's going to be kind of a lot of information, so don't feel like you have to remember everything. If anything's more specific to your operation, we can talk about it later. The first program, and this is really the meat and potatoes for the NRCS, it's the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, or EQIP. The objective for EQIP is to solve priority natural resource problems on agricultural land, such as soil, water, wildlife, and related resource issues. Assist farmers, ranchers, and forest owners in complying with federal, state, and local regulations. Encourage environmental enhancements. And EQIP adds flexibility as far as producers' ability to address specific local resource needs on a county level. And I can make these slides available to anyone that wants them. I've included some hyperlinks in the slides. So this is a link to the EQIP webpage that has just a load of information, more information than anyone could possibly need. It's state specific, and you can really fall down the rabbit hole of EQIP if you wish. The state of Oregon is unique in that it utilizes what we call conservation implementation strategies with the EQIP program. And what a CIS is it's an area-wide planning strategy for targeted conservation. So to develop these CISs, the NRCS works with local communities, partners, and landowners to determine county-level resource concerns and priorities. Local work groups are going to be the major mechanism in community and partner outreach. And I'm not sure if you've attended a local work group or if that's something you've heard of, but it's an annual meeting that's held in each county. It's held by the district conservationist for that office, and it gives producers, partners, the voice to discuss what they're seeing on their operations, what they'd like to see, what issues they might have, and it really feeds back into the CIS development process. And this gives EQIP the ability to invest in these focused and defined areas. Oregon also has multiple statewide initiatives. So the CIS is going to be more local, and the state initiatives are something that anyone can apply for. That includes High Tunnel and Organic Initiative, as well as the On-Farm Energy Initiative. There's a lot more. That's something you can find on the EQIP page as well. And then below, I included a link to a CIS map. This is a screenshot of the map. As you can see, there's a ton of different stuff going on here. We can't really get a good look at what any of it means just from the screen grab. The map itself is interactive, so you're able to zoom in, click, find more information. You can see the boundaries for the different CISs, and you can explore your area, figure out what CISs are available in your region, and get more information on those programs. The next program is the EQIP Conservation Incentive Contract, or EQIP-CIC. This is a new program released in 2022 with the goal to address concerns with drought and cropland. Oregon was one of the few states that participated in the pilot program in 2021, and that was open to all land uses, so cropland, pasture, rangeland, and forest. CIC uses both practices and enhancements, and this will make a little more sense when we talk about CSP, which uses enhancements, but it sort of combines EQIP and CSP as far as the programs go. And so what that might look like is prescribed grazing versus mineral movement, pre-commercial thinning and slash treatment versus biochar, and a single species cover crop versus multiple species targeting a specific concern. Conservation Stewardship Program, or CSP, is designed for operations that are already functioning at a higher level of conservation and are willing to adopt some enhancement activities that make additional improvements. CSP provides an annual payment for 5 years to maintain these enhancement activities with the potential to renew for an additional 5 years. So CSP uses enhancements, EQIP uses practices, and CIC uses both. So it kind of combines the EQIP and CSP programs into one. Then the last bit here, NRCS may provide a minimum annual payment of $1,500, and that's in the case of the payment being below $1,500. So at least you'll have that minimum if you're a smaller operation. Next is a Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program, CRP or CREP. This is a Farm Service Agency-led program, but NRCS provides all the technical assistance. It's a 10 to 15-year agreement, and it pays an annual payment to maintain riparian areas, and other crucial areas on property. CRP or CREP can be restrictive on allowed activities once the property is in contract. CRP is definitely seen more on the eastern part of the state. We don't really get any CRP in my basin. The way CRP is kind of looked at is you farm the best and then you can conserve the rest. So it gives you an opportunity to take subprime farmland, convert it to grassland, and then reap the benefits of that as far as wildlife habitat, increased pollinator habitat, bring your soil health to a better place. But again, it can be restrictive. So a lot of times you can graze CRP land, but you wouldn't be able to farm. Here we have the Regional Conservation Partnership Program. This is a partner-run program with NRCS matching funds, and it gives us a tool in our tool belt that allows NRCS to work with entities other than just private landowners. Partners are oftentimes federal agencies such as Bureau of Land Management or the Forest Service, the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, or conservation districts is pretty common as well. The Agricultural Conservation Easement Program is a permanent contract, so there's no expiration date. There's two facets of the easement program, the Agricultural Land Easement, or ALE, and that's when NRCS purchases an easement on the land, and that's making sure that the agricultural land will not be converted to a non-agricultural use. Again, that's permanent. Then there's the Wetland Reserve Easement, the WRE, formerly known as the WRP, which makes sure to keep things confusing. And that's when an easement's purchased on ag land to restore wetlands and associated uplands. So this is a newer program, and we don't know how it's going to look as far as the implementation. The Organic Transition Initiative. What we do know so far is that it's a $300 million multi-agency USDA effort to support, build, and strengthen organic markets. Assistance will be offered through three main channels: mentoring and advice, direct farmer assistance, and pinpointed organic market development. Again, we don't know how that assistance is going to look as far as if it'll be a cost share program like EQIP, if it'll be grants. So we'll definitely keep everyone posted as more information comes out on this. I did provide a link to that webpage so you can read through it yourselves if you are interested. So here's a list of commonly used practices, typically on EQIP contracts. I'm not going to go through and read everything, but I'll give y'all a minute to take a look at it. These are what we see a lot in my basin, typically on smaller farms, organic farms as well. And it gives you a general idea of these sort of projects that we're planning.
What's livestock pipeline?
Livestock pipeline is going to be providing water for livestock. So it'll be taking water from a source such as a spring or a well, and it'll be piping that water to a watering facility to provide drinking water. Any other questions while we're on this slide?
Kacey, not on this slide, but you did get a question in the chat. Why wouldn't CRP be as robust in Northwest Oregon?
Well, simply put, there's just not as much subprime farmland. There's not as many large operations that could afford to put a chunk of their land into non-production. We see it a lot in more of a grassland ecosystem where you have large acreages, rolling grasslands. On the western side, it's a lot more forested, and CRP doesn't really work on the forested land use. All right, so this slide is just a quick overview of what the Oregon application cycle looks like. You can see the application deadline date for CSP was March 31st this year. For EQIP, that deadline was April 7th. So you can see we missed the deadline to be considered for funding for this cycle. However, you can apply year-round. So if you miss that deadline, go ahead and pop an application in anyways. You're ahead of the game and you'll be considered for spring of 2024 funding. The application form is called the CPA 1200. I provided a link to that form below. You can also get that form online by Googling it. You can call your local office and they can send you a copy. You can go into your office, get a hard copy. It also comes with handy instructions because, of course, it is kind of confusing. It wouldn't be a government form if it wasn't a little bit confusing. So when you're going in to fill out that form, make sure you ask any questions you have. We don't mind answering questions. We would much rather answer questions when we have them than have to correct something at the end at the last second. And then one item that you do have to complete in order to finish your application is you need to register your property with the FSA. So you'll need a farm and tract number to be able to complete your CPA 1200. Below is a link to a webpage that can help you find your local service center. You can give them a call, let them know you're wanting to apply for NRCS programs. They'll definitely be able to help you out. It's not a hard process, just another box to check in order to move forward with the application. And then a quick note on the application. We can get more into this if anyone has questions, but there is a lot more eligibility documents that you need to provide. But this application will at least get you in the door so you won't miss the deadline. The other forms we can get along the way, but this is really the most important one to get complete so that you won't miss the application deadline. Now I just have a few pictures of some completed projects. This is a heavy use area for livestock. So they came in and put down a concrete pad to prevent excessive erosion, the ground getting all tore up by the cattle. Here we have hedgerow establishment along a fence line. A few high tunnels that were completed. A couple happy cows, and this was part of a pasture restoration project with prescribed grazing plan. This is a forest health project. They came in and did some thinning and then replanted seedlings. This is a roof runoff structure project. So they capture rainwater coming off of the barn roof and it's collected in the tanks. And you can see a high tunnel on the right-hand side there. So that water can be used for irrigation. It can also be used for livestock water. And here's one of those watering facilities I mentioned. You can see they put down a nice pad around to prevent the ground getting tore up. It's accessible on both sides of the fence there. Neat little project. So that's all I have. Here's how to get a hold of me. Again, I cover the North Coast and Lower Willamette basins. Wallace Jennings is my counterpart to the south. And for the time being, Stephanie Payne is my counterpart in Central Oregon. Any and all questions, small farms, organics, programs, feel free to reach out. So any other questions we can address in the breakout session. So that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Kacey. Appreciate the time. And we lucked out and got Erica. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Hi there, Erica. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I've got a slide here for you. I will throw up, or do you have some
Okay.
slides of your own?
No, go ahead, throw whatever you have up.
Perfect.
Just got a script.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, well, good morning and allow me to introduce myself. My name is Erica Knight and I am a business and cooperative program specialist with the USDA Rural Development. And I am located out of our Portland, Oregon office. I am the value added producer grant coordinator, as well as the beginning farmer rancher champion for rural development in the state of Oregon. And together, these two roles serve one another really well. I interact with both beginning farmer rancher and non-beginning farmer rancher in my role as VAPG coordinator. And I also get to provide resources and guidance that other USDA agencies may offer to help them meet their business and financial goals. So in my role as the BFR coordinator for RD, I get to guide folks towards the VAPG program and determine if they need, or if they are indeed a good fit for that program or other RD programs. And that can be really pivotal in early farm development or, farmer rancher development. So I'm going to go through what rural development is and how it can help with any financial or technical assistance needs for our beginning farmer rancher or small and emerging farmer groups. So RD has over 40 different loan, grant, and loan guarantee programs to help create jobs and support economic development and essential services such as housing, healthcare, first responder services and equipment, water, electric, and communication infrastructure. We promote economic development by supporting loans to businesses through banks, credit unions, and community managed lending pools. We also offer technical assistance and information to help agricultural producers and cooperatives get started and improve the effectiveness of their operations through direct loans, direct grants, etc. So we also help rural residents buy or rent safe, affordable housing and make healthy and safety repairs to their homes through our single family housing department. So at the national level, rural development programs and services are delivered through 3 agency areas. The first is called Rural Business and Cooperative Service. That's the program that I work in. The second is Rural Housing Service. And the third is our Rural Utilities Service. I'm not going to go as much into rural housing and rural utilities on this demonstration here, but we can talk more about it in the breakout sessions if you are interested. But I am going to really highlight our programs in our Rural Business and Cooperative Service program because I feel like the programs in that agency area are most relevant to farmers and ranchers. So as mentioned, each of these agency areas are responsible for administering and executing various financial assistance or technical assistance programs to our customers. But the 2 programs that are most relevant to farmers and ranchers and fishermen are the Value Added Producer Grant and the Rural Energy for America Grant. There are some loan programs that we can also discuss in the breakout sessions, but I'm just going to highlight these 2 programs right now because they're a hot topic. So first, the Value Added Producer Grant, which I'm going to call the VAPG. The VAPG program helps agricultural producers in both rural and non-rural areas enter into value-added activities related to the processing and or marketing of value-added products. And there are various ways that we determine what's considered a value-added product. Generating new products, creating and expanding marketing opportunities, and increasing producer income are the goals of this program. So So increased revenue and increased customer base. Those are the two main goals of this program. The grant is eligible to independent producers, agricultural producer groups, farmer or rancher cooperatives, and majority controlled producer-based business ventures to apply. So these are the applicant types that you can apply for, which again, come with a lot of little nuances. And so determining which applicant type you are is really important when moving forward with this grant application. Most people are just independent producers, but you never know. So if you have questions and maybe your org structure is a little bit complicated, definitely give me a call and we can discuss. Grant and matching funds for this grant, because it is a 1-to-1 match requirement, must be used for, or I should say can be used for planning activities or working capital activities related specifically to producing and marketing a value-added product. So some examples of planning activities include conducting a feasibility study and developing a business plan for processing and marketing of a proposed value-added product. Really, that is the #1 outcome of a planning grant, is to have somebody develop a feasibility study and business plan for your business. So then you can move into the working capital grant and use that feasibility study in your application. So then the working capital grant can cover lots of different things depending on the needs of your your business venture. But just some generalizations: processing costs and salary expenses related to processing, marketing and advertising expenses and salary expenses related to marketing, and then some additional raw commodity inventory expenses. So you can purchase up to 50% more raw commodity for your project type, for your project. So let me just throw out an example here. If we were using cows to make cheese, milk to make cheese, processing costs could be anything post-harvest. So once that milk has been milked from the cow and it's in bottles and whatever containers you use to store your milk, the process of actually turning it into cheese, anything related to that process, like supplies, safety equipment, man hours, which would be the salary expenses and labor, all of that is eligible. And then marketing and advertising expenses could be online advertising expenses or in-person advertising expenses. It can also be farmers market booth fees or tents that you need to, a little pop-up tent that you might need, or a table for a farmers market. That one's kind of open-ended. Processing costs are a little more closed because a lot of the time folks want to include equipment or like cold storage or vehicles. Those things are not eligible. Unfortunately, like equipment, vehicles, and construction of buildings or modification of buildings is ineligible for this grant. So that's a little bit about the VAPG. I personally will be doing the intake and doing the processing of all the VAPGs in Oregon. So if you have any questions or you're interested in pursuing this grant, I highly recommend reaching out before, before the deadline. I like to get everybody's questions in and asked at least 2 weeks before the deadline, because it takes, I get a lot of applications and I have to review them all for little discrepancies, or not I have to, but I like to, because I want people to be really competitive. So try to get your questions into me or your draft applications into me as soon as possible. So I'll just end it on that. Oh, I also, the deadline for this one is quickly approaching. It is May 16th. So we have a little under a month left. So please do not wait. The second grant I want to talk about that is, really more relevant to ag producers is our REAP program, REAP, Rural Energy for America grant. So this program provides guaranteed loan financing or just grant funding to agricultural producers and rural small business owners to purchase and install a renewable energy system or make energy efficiency improvements to their business. So agricultural producers can be in rural or non-rural areas, and at least 50% of their gross income must come from an agricultural operation. And small non-agricultural businesses are ineligible in rural and in rural areas. And then just regular rural small businesses also are eligible for this program. The funds may be used to purchase, install, or construct a renewable energy system, such as, there's a bunch of examples here, biomass systems, geothermal systems for electric generation or direct use, hydropower below 30 megawatts, hydrogen power, small and large wind generation, small and large solar generation, which is our bread and butter. We do tons of that in Oregon. And then finally we have ocean, which is tidal or current or generation. Also on the energy efficiency improvement side, the funds can be used for high efficiency heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, insulation, lighting, cooling, or refrigeration units, and then doors and windows. The catch with energy efficiency improvements is you need to be replacing an outdated or an inefficient item that you already have. It can't just be a new install. It has to be replacing something that you already have that's inefficient. So that may be the walk-in freezers or the refrigerator units that you have currently. They might be really outdated and causing your energy bills to skyrocket. So that's an option. For REAP loan grant and loan grant combos, applicants must provide at least 50% of the total project cost. This is actually significantly increased from the grants only used to be 25% of the total project cost, and now they're 50% as of the new IRA funding. So that's really exciting, and the program itself is just off the walls, oversubscribed. But that they're moving the competitions to quarterly now rather than semi-annually. So we're hoping to get more money out the door with this program. I am not the main point of contact for our REAP program. Our state energy coordinator, her name is Ellie Draves, and I can give out her email in our breakout session. So if you're interested in the REAP program, I will give out that information in our breakout session. But yeah, Ellie Draves would be your first point of contact for REAP. So thank you guys for listening. And again, please do not hesitate to ask any questions about these two amazing programs or any of the other programs that we have, housing or community programs in RD. And I will be in the breakout session, and my email is there on the screen. So shoot away with all of your questions, and thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Erica. I do appreciate it. I want to thank Erica. I want to thank Anna. I want to thank Lauren, and I want to thank Kacey. I want to thank you all for being here today. Again, they'll all be in the breakout sessions. So jump in there, ask questions, and help us kind of get a take on moving forward to what we want to use this session for. Again, I know I said this in the beginning, but I'll harp on it a little bit. I just want to take this opportunity to field your questions, talk about our next session, and see what information can we bring to the table to really help you guys move forward and make our communication better. At times, for all the information that we have out there, it can still be difficult to filter through it all. So we all thought that you guys having a little bit of private time with us to sit down and talk would be the best deal to help guide us on that little journey. So with that, again, thank you all for the presentations, and we'll go ahead and jump out to breakouts.
All right, I have the breakouts ready. I'm gonna open all the rooms now. I'm gonna hang out in this main session just in case anyone joins us so I can let them know what's happening. But yeah, about to open the breakout rooms. Feel free to stay as long as you want. This is really just a time to connect with Derek, Anna, Kacey, and Erica.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.